everybody, and welcome to another episode of She Soft. So I'm really excited today because I'm going to talk about, or we are going to talk about something that really is important to me. We're going to talk about self-care and pampering yourself and what that means and what it really is. And I have a beautiful, beautiful special guest today, Jessica Barnes, owner of the Salon and Retreat. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I am very excited.
So, you know, I started following you. We weren't even living here yet. We were still up in North Carolina, and I started seeing this beautiful advertising coming across for this spa and retreat, and I was like, what is this? Because it looked a little bit different to me. It looked lush,
Yeah.
you know, and it looked like a retreat, because when you think about retreat, it's retreating. It's drawing away from the world. And when I think of that, there's a lot of different things people think of, but I almost think of a warm, dark place to nest and kind of shut the world out a little bit. And you nailed that in a romantic, feminine, yet strong way. It's a strong way too, you know, so kudos.
Thank you so much.
Did that all come from your brainchild?
It really did. Yeah,
Okay.
it really did. That is the exact experience that I wanted people to feel when even coming up for the name. Of course, we have the hair side of things,
Sure.
and the spa services of massage and self-therapy and sauna. And I'm trying to come up with the name salon and spa. You know, that is everywhere.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to capture the environment that I was trying to create, which
Yeah.
truly is a retreat.
It is.
Yeah.
So those that aren't familiar with what VU means, what does VU mean?
Well, VU is French for you.
Okay.
So going into a deep dive and figuring out why I wanted to create this space, it came down to me wanting to take care of you.
Yeah.
It is all about you.
Yeah.
There. When you come in, it's your time. It's your chance to take care of yourself.
Sure.
And I love being able to play a part.
There's all sorts of nurturers and healers in the
Yeah.
world. There really are.
Yeah.
And I believe that if your goal is to give people a retreat and to take care of them, then you're a nurturer, you're a healer, because that is sacred time when people are there.
Absolutely.
Right? Like sitting in that, I've been there.
Yeah.
It's quite lovely. So I thought this is the perfect person to talk to about this today, self-care and pampering, and what it means, because I think it means something different to each of us. So when you hear that, what immediately do you think of?
So when I hear pampering,
Okay.
that is paying such close attention to your needs and anticipating your needs and what that looks like. And so being able to pamper someone, to spoil them completely, is to give them what they need at the moment. And that's different for everybody. People
Yeah.
come and walk into the doors in all different states and different environments and experiences, and being able to meet them where they are,
Yeah.
and care for them at that place,
Mhm.
it's special and it's individual for everyone.
Right.
When I think self-care, I think of preserving yourself
Yeah.
and making sure that you are taking care of yourself
Yeah.
in every form that comes in. And there are many forms.
Yeah, that's where you have to check yourself. I think, because today we tend to think it's really selfish to take the time to do these little
Right.
things for ourselves, which really it's very selfish not to take the time. And you have to kind of check yourself, like, what do I need right now? What,
Exactly.
you know, if you find you have a few minutes, it can be a small thing.
Yeah.
That is self-care. It can be just closing your eyes and taking some deep breaths, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, there's so many different forms of self-care. So what is something that you do for yourself on a daily basis that is, it's sort of ritual for you, that this is, I'm going to do this for me?
Yeah. For me, I love to learn.
I do too.
I love to learn. So it is taking some time every day. And it can come in so many different forms, right? I mean, social media is all the craze now, and it may just be hashtagging some motivational things, or, you know, looking and filling my cup with positivity, with expansion, with growth, and learning new ways to communicate with each other, new ways to care for each other.
Right.
So that is probably the one part of self-care that I take the most serious and means the most to me. It's just the ability to learn something new.
Well, and growth.
Exactly.
You want a little bit of daily growth every day, or a lot, but you're going to make sure you at least get a little.
Absolutely.
Right? I'm that way too. I think that's important. I think that for me, that's also somewhat creative time, because if I'm learning, my mind's working, and I'm like, oh, how can I apply that in my life?
Absolutely.
You know, if I find something that's really inspiring to me, how can I apply that to my life? And then if that's really cool for me, how can I help other people apply that to their life? So that learning time and that creative time, quiet time.
I was going to say sleep is probably my second that I do for myself.
Sleep is just, I mean, the value of it.
Yeah.
I think when we're young, we just don't quite get it unless you have a little baby at home, and then you're like, oh, I just want some sleep.
Right.
But in general, I don't think we really get the value of it until we're a little bit later on, like in life, when you're just like, well, I just want a good night's sleep.
Exactly.
So sleep is good. Quiet time is good. What else? Oh, you know, something I really like, or I've started to make time for that I haven't in the past, is time with friends.
Yes, that is massively, massively important.
Oh, my gosh. And I mean, love my husband to death, but it was just been me and him for the past 2 years. And I did have a few friends in North Carolina that are wonderful, and I miss them. But it's since I've been back here that I've reconnected with a group of girlfriends. And I didn't realize how important that is for my girl soul.
For your soul.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And there's a couple of them. They're my little girlfriends. Like we get together and it's just pure silliness.
Yes.
But that laughter, it feeds me so much. And to me, that self-care is like really surround yourself with people that you love being around.
And people that you can just drop your walls with and be your full self. You know, you can, it doesn't always have to be deep talks and deep conversations. It is the lightness and the building each other up and supporting each other that it does. It touches and fills a part of your soul that it doesn't come from anywhere else. No. You don't get it from your kids. You don't get it from your partner. It's just women. Yeah, it's a cool thing. And I'm sure when guys are together, there's a similarity there for them. Like there's a bonding, there's a bro thing that goes on that they can appreciate. Because I'm sure, and here's the thing, guys, if you're listening, and we have guy followers, here's the thing. We appreciate you. We do. We truly do. You are a valuable asset into our lives. And we are complex creatures. And I know y'all don't have a clue how we operate. So, but we know how we operate.
We know how we operate, and we got a pretty good clue how y'all operate. So we have the advantage. But here's the thing. I think it's probably good for them to get together and try to figure us out, because I know it's got to be.
At least someone to vent to be like, I don't know what's going on, you don't know what's going on. We'll just be here not knowing what's going on.
We'll have a beer and talk about it.
Well, and I saw it said that, you know, when men hang out with each other, they're just kind of side by side, right? Yeah. They're watching a game, they're having a beer, they're playing a game, whatever, fishing, whatever capacity. Women, we sit down with each other and we look at each other and
what's going on.
What we get deep fast. Yeah. We're like, tell me everything. Spill the tea. I'm here for you. I'm here for it. And not in a gossipy kind of way, but it's like, I'm looking at you. I care. I got you.
Yeah, and that's beautiful. But I don't. And I'm sure there's men that have these conversations, but not in general. And that's just how we operate. So, guys. It's good to have friend time, whether it's tea time, you know, you go to golf, whatever it is, but have a little bit of that. But I love hot showers.
Yeah.
Hot baths.
You ever take a cold shower?
Yeah, I don't like that. That's not self-care.
That's not
Now, I know people love that and it wakes up your senses and all that. Oh. No, I saw a meme the other day and it was like, she goes, I love hot showers. I'm like a rotisserie chicken just spinning around in there. And I thought about me because I get cold really quickly.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
But how do you do the cold shower?
Not every day. I'm not that diligent about it, but I'm more inclined in the summertime. Like,
Sure,
that's the last thing I want in the winter.
I can do that.
But a nice hot shower, and then right before I get out, I switch it over to cold, and it just is that quick.
Yeah.
And I feel like it awakens all of my senses, like you said, and
I'll try it. I'll try it. I'll let you know.
Nice.
I'll probably text you and go like, this is bullshit.
yeah. You lie.
I've been cold for days. I tell you one thing I would do, and somebody will probably dare me to do it. I think I would do a polar bear plunge though.
Oh wow.
I think I would.
What is so appealing about that?
Just to say I did it.
Okay.
Just to say I did it. Just one of those things like, okay, yeah, I did that. You know.
I kind of want to walk across hot coals for that same
Yeah,
reason.
I can see that too. I could get that.
Like the opposite ends of the
Yeah.
spectrum, but ooh, that polar plunge, man.
Well, I am a fire person. I'm a very
Okay.
fiery sort, so
Yeah.
maybe it would cool my jets a little bit.
Yeah.
But what else? What else do you
Oh
do?
gosh, self-care. You know, I think it is looking at all the aspects of what we need as people. You know, what are the things that you provide for your children and what was provided for you as a child, right?
Right.
It was your basic needs, being fed,
Yeah.
being watered,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
to speak, being clothed, having a house over your head, a roof over your head, and really diving into a lot of those things, you know, being fed. What are you putting in your body?
Yeah. What are you feeding yourself?
What are you feeding yourself? Are you even remembering to eat?
Yeah.
You know, that I sometimes have that issue, especially when I'm standing behind the chair all the time. It's like, wait, Jessica, you're angry. Oh, you're hungry.
You're hangry.
Yeah, I'm hangry.
Yeah.
I have to keep fueling this,
Yes,
you know,
do.
energy that I am
And when you're
using.
in that state too, you'll eat a lot of whatever's in front of you.
Absolutely.
And that's where self-care steps in
Yes.
and goes, I'm hungry, I want to eat more food.
Right.
So be prepared. So just being prepared for that is
Yes.
self-care.
It is. It comes down to the smallest things that you do to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
You know, when you are you drinking your water? Are
Yeah.
you getting enough hydration? That is massive. And those are small victories that you should praise yourself
It
for.
is, because it's not always easy.
It's not.
Yeah.
And even just the one glass, hey, you did it. Should I
Yeah.
strive for 2 tomorrow? Yeah, but I did 1 today, so that's great.
And monitor your alcohol content.
Yes.
I mean, that's when people don't want to talk about it. We just want to we're not going to talk about that one.
Yeah.
Because there are, people that are come home and they're like, my self-care is to have a glass of wine.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's cool. I'm awesome with that. But be mindful of the consumption, the amount to which you
That's
consume.
something I definitely have to check myself on.
It's
because
hard.
it is.
Yeah.
I am I'm just gonna say it allows me to numb myself from the day.
Sure.
You know, and where it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have 1 glass of wine. It might end up being 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or almost a bottle.
Well, and that's honest. I mean,
Yeah.
sure, when I was drinking, the same thing.
Yeah.
It was the same thing. But there's just a point for me when we're talking about self-care here, and we're about to get into the second of the yamas for the 8 limbs of yoga, and it's about truthfulness.
Yeah.
And I'm like, self-care is also about truthfulness. It's that self-check. Like, what am I doing that I'm harming myself? That I need to step back and governor a little bit, maybe pull back a little bit. I always think dry January is a self-care thing for people who are brave enough to go that route, or even just dry week or whatever it may be. And not just alcohol. I mean the things that we do in excess.
Absolutely.
So if we, it's for me sometimes it's exercise. I do an overabundance. I don't. My body doesn't need that much exercise really, and it's overworking things. So I have to pull back. I have to tell myself, you need to sit down.
Yeah.
Your knee is swollen.
Yeah.
Twice the size of the other one. you should put an ice pack on
Yeah.
this, you know. So I have the things that feed me.
Yeah.
And you know, just like having another glass of wine for some people, I deal with stress and anxiety by going for a walk or working out.
Which can have the opposite effect, right? Take a positive.
Yeah, I mean, you can overdo a good thing.
Absolutely.
For sure. Yeah. So, you know, it's checking yourself. It
really is.
And we were talking earlier too about how there's certain aspects or things that you can check to make sure you're really taking care of yourself. And I call them the 7 pillars of self-care, but one is mental. So what are you doing to take care of your mental self?
I try to practice detachment.
Oh, you're talking my language, girlfriend. All right, so we're going to take a minute. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so I am now nearly 38. I have survived every bad day that I've ever had. There has not been one single problem that I have faced in this life that has taken my life yet, you know?
Yeah.
And so being able to look at the problems that I'm facing or the situations that I'm going through and detach from it and tell myself, this is not going to take me down. This is not going to be the thing that takes me out, which means I'm going to get through it, which makes it that much less scary.
Yes.
And so, excuse me, I'm frying my hoop.
And that's beautiful, and there's so much knowledge in it. Because if you can remove yourself from the situation and look at it objectively, whether it be a person, a place, or a thing,
or your thoughts,
you're gonna be able to figure out how to move past it.
Yes.
Without it consuming you, with the least amount of damage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So detachment.
And being able to move through it without a lot of resistance and just accepting that this is where I am, this is what's happening. We're gonna make it through. Yeah. I'm not gonna fight, you know, sometimes the only way to get to the other side is to go through the shitstorm. And for sure. And that's it.
And you know, if you step back and you look at it from the broader perspective, you can see the things that you have the power to change.
Yeah.
And you're like, this I can do. I can't do anything about what's going on over here. So let that be.
Hands off the wheel.
Yeah, hands off the wheel, let that be. But over here, I have some control. Absolutely. But if you're in that midst of the storm and you're doing everything you can just to hang on, then you're gonna get consumed by it, or it's gonna wreak a lot of damage.
Absolutely.
So detachment is awesome.
And it allows you to move past it faster too.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many people, and there are some things in my own life that it's just, you get stuck. You get stuck in the mud on this one event that was absolutely shitty, and you just keep replaying it over and over and over.
And sometimes it's funny to me, the things that I hang on to.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, of all the things, why are you giving that power or that person power in your world when in reality they don't have any power, you know, it's just in your head. So detachment is great, and you need to apply that to people in your life as well. Like what people do is out of your control. You can only control what you do. And sometimes you have to step out of whatever role you have with that person and look at it from an objective place. And if it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong. If it's right, it hurts your feelings.
And then it's your choice to move, whichever way you're gonna move.
Yeah. So detachment's good.
What do you do mentally?
Well, detachment is something I've worked on for a long time, and life has been the best teacher of that for me, because there's been, you know, even one of my own children that I've had to detach from, which is the hardest lesson for a mother to learn about detachment. And it's not that you detach yourself from the love of your child, which you can never do.
Right.
Your child will never be far from your heart or away from your heart, but you have to continue to live. And in order to do that, you have to realize that that's their life and you have yours, and they're adults, and we move on. You know, so detachment is, but I think through the lessons that brought me to detachment, meditation is a big one for me. And I think people I think they get confused when they think of meditation. They're like, I don't have time to give 20 minutes to meditation. Often I don't either. But for me, it's sprinkled throughout the day.
Sure.
And a meditation could be 30 seconds, it could be 5 minutes, it could be 15, it could be an hour. You know, it just depends on what I have for it. But like this morning, today's kind of a busy day. And I like busy days, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I get excited, you know, and charged. So before my busy day and before I started a class, I lit a candle. And I said a little blessing to the candle, you know, to myself with the lighting of the candle. It's very symbolic for me. And I breathed on that for about a minute, and that was a meditation for me. I meditate with my class a few times a day, so that's a meditation for me. When I cook my meals, I often will find, and it's not intentional, but I'm in the middle of fixing dinner or something in the kitchen, and there's not a TV on, there's not music on, it's just very quiet. And I've gotten halfway through it, and I've just let my mind wander and just gone about my business in a mindful manner, and I find that very lovely. And it's very simple.
Absolutely.
So cutting distractions out for me is self-care. Like, I don't care about the TV. The TV, that can be thrown out on the curb, and I would never miss it. Now, my husband would kill me. But no, I think for me, self-care is quiet time, like without distraction. And then when I do have something in the background, I mean, I'm different. I like a little classical music playing in the background. It just calms me down, or it lights me up. One or the other.
I am right there with you. That's usually what I have going on in the car, is just something soft that is not distracting with a beat, you know, because I will catch a beat real fast and just go to town.
And there's a time for that.
There is a time for that, absolutely. But I find a lot of my greatest ideas come to me in the quiet.
Yes, and I think that's what people are missing. Like, you got to be able to hear your own thoughts.
You do.
And if you have the world news in the background sending off all sorts of stress hormones in your body, your creative side isn't going to break through. So keep that in mind. If you're lacking creativity, you're not giving it a chance to speak. And if you're bebopping to the sound of music, it's sending off great signals in your body, but it's not giving you that time and space to listen to yourself. So quiet time. So that's what we do for our mental self-care. Physical, I think everybody knows what I do for for my physical side of things is I make sure to connect to my body constantly. We're very well aware of each other, my body and myself, but I understand they're separate as well.
Fascinating.
Yeah, they're almost like, there's times we're one. When I yoga flow, we're one. And I'm aware of it, and I let it speak to me. So it's a very, it's my most intimate relationship, is my relationship with myself.
I love that.
I love it. I love me.
Yeah.
I do. I love that I'm healthy. I don't take it for granted. I love my mind. I love my creativity. I love my laugh. I love it.
I love it.
Okay, so you, physical.
Physical is probably one of the things that I actually need more work in, you know, that I do not feel like I am at that place. I mean, I love me, I love myself and all of that, but the connection with my body, it was one of the things that was on my goals for this year, which is why as soon as you came into town, I was at your very first class. And then I have enjoyed it so much. There have been things that I did not think or trust my body to do. And I'm like, oh, there ain't no way, Kathy. Like, what are you talking about? And I did it. And so I feel like I am at this place in my life where I'm just now starting to get to know my body a little bit more. I took it for granted for so long because it just performed.
I mean, right where you are is in that cusp of where women start to prioritize their relationship with their body. Right around 40 is when 38, 40, somewhere around there. Because we start to, I think our body starts to speak to us, like in a very good way.
Okay.
Like we've done some childbearing.
Yes.
You know, so we're in a new space with our body where we haven't been before. Our insides are different. You know, we're something different than we were before. We are mothers. You know, and that when you step into that realm, it is a different body. And not only is it a different body, it's a different way of thinking. Because when you have a child that you're responsible for, that's another aspect of who you are. So I think when you get around that age, yourself is going, I would like to introduce myself.
Yeah.
Hello.
I definitely feel like that is where
yourself is like, girlfriend, we got to get on the same team because we need to get our shit together before we really start aging.
Right.
And that's the truth. That is a truth. And I think that's why you're feeling that now. I have an advantage over a lot of people that this is my profession.
Sure.
Now, if I had to now I can say I have had full-time jobs and yoga was a side gig. But I have always made the time to work out, no matter what I was doing. I've always either had a gym membership or I was teaching classes.
Now, I've always had the gym membership.
As a studio owner, we appreciate you all.
Right.
But it's a matter of really listening. Because, you know, I hear people say, I know I need to go. Well, that's your body saying, yes, you need to go.
Yes.
And we need time together. You need time with your body. And when you go, I know like when you're in the gym or something, you want those beats on, and those beats help you get through the workout. And if that's what's feeding you, do that. But listen to your body when you're working out. Like, don't overload if you're working out in the gym. Take your ego off the shelf for a little bit because you're going to get hurt. And that hurts even worse.
Yes.
You know, so just be careful.
That's one of the things that I love about yoga so much is the slowness and paying attention to what each part of the body is doing and listening to it.
And breathing with it.
Yes.
And breathing with it. Because if you create that pattern, your body's, it's music. Your body's like, oh yeah, like that. Yeah. All right, so that's a good way. And in the physical falls into eating well. Important. It does,
yes.
Got to pay attention to that. Getting that sleep, that's important. Emotional, and this one's a little different. I think this one's harder for people to connect to today. Like, what are you doing for your emotional self-care? And that's a hard one. And honestly, in some ways, I know there's a part of me I need to connect deeper to there. I think I have a lot of heart scars. As a Reiki master, I know that. I feel a lot of hurt that I've let harden in order to survive, to not be a basket case. But I am very close to my heart. I open my heart. I think sometimes I over-open some heart space trying to make up for where I feel I've hurt or I hurt.
Yes.
So I think, but for me, what I do to try to keep that in balance is two things. I will try to, before I go to bed at night, put my hand on my heart and just tell myself I did the best I could today. And that's one thing.
That allows you to sleep real easy.
It does.
It really does.
And if I know I didn't do the best I could do today, because there are those things, I just let myself know that I can pick that up tomorrow. That I need to get a good
brand new day.
It's a brand new day. And another one is, and I've done a post about this, is the act of bowing your head to your heart. And for me, that's not so much. It is a prayerful intention, definitely, but energetically, it is a congruency between what you know and what you feel, and those two places need to connect.
Yes.
and they need to intentionally connect. So that's what the act of bowing your head means. But I don't think that a lot of people think about the emotional side of self-care, and I think that's important too. When you need to cry, cry.
Yes.
When you need to scream, scream.
Yes.
You know, those things.
I definitely feel like, I'm going to say especially as women, we have allowed ourselves to be tricked into not trusting our feelings and not trusting our emotions, because so easily it's written off as, you know, back in the 50s it was just hysteria, right? Or it must be that time of the month, like your hormones are crazy. You don't really feel that way. But I know 9 times out of 10, when I have a feeling or a strong emotion about something, that is my gut. It's a guttural yes or no. Right. And every time I go against it, it bites me in the ass.
Yes, give validation.
Every time.
Yeah.
And so that has been something, is trusting my gut, trusting my emotions, trusting what they are saying to me.
Oh, yeah.
And also checking and balancing that.
Yes. Well, I mean, you're right. We don't validate our own gut instincts enough, right? We don't. We're like, because of, like you said, people don't validate our opinions often enough for us to give ourselves credit. But 9 times out of 10, if not 10 out of 10, your gut's gonna have been right. And hindsight's 20/20. So listen.
You don't feel good about something, you don't do it. You do feel like, and that goes, I mean, that will take you into the next kind of self-care of, you say no when you don't want to do it.
No is a great word.
No is the best word.
And you know that if you say no, you don't have to say anything else.
Anything else. It's a complete statement. All by itself.
Sentence.
Nobody, we don't have to justify it.
It's funny sometimes though, if somebody asks you something you really don't want, you just go no. And they sit there and wait. Right. Like, okay, explain to me why. It's kind of an awkward situation, and you just leave them with that. Like, okay, bye.
That's just it for me. That's what is best for me today, right now, is just a flat out no. It's not going to work. I can't add that onto my plate. That doesn't align with what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah. That is going to make me feel like I'm in the weeds and jeopardize everything else that I have going on. And so self-care is the ability to say no and say no without guilt.
And I love that. Great message too. And you know, I heard someone say once, I think it's a famous Kate Moss saying.
Oh.
She says, never complain and never explain. No, it's don't complain and never explain. And if you really stop and think about that, nobody wants to hear you complain.
Ever. About anything. They don't care.
You have complaints, I'm sure. They're valid. But leave those alone for yourself and just say no, and you don't have to explain it. Just
at all.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. End of story. Okay, so like that one, y'all learned something. Environmental. This one's another one I think that people don't realize, that your home and like your desk, all those sorts of things, like when they're messy, energetically, your energy's messy. So self-care is baking your bed every morning, making sure you don't have dirty dishes, and I understand we're all busy, but these are things that if you get in the habit of doing them, they don't take a lot of time.
Well, and it's not fun, right? But that's adulting. You do the things that you don't want to do, but don't even stop and think about it long enough to create this judgment of, yes, I want to do it, no, I don't want it. It doesn't matter whether you want to do it or not. It just needs to be done. You do it. And that's how it goes. And I have this conversation with my kids all the time. I'm like, this needs to be done. And they're like, oh, I'll wait. I'll do it after this. I'll do it after this. I'm like, in the time that you have spent arguing with me about when it needs to be done, it could have been done 5 times over.
Right. Well, as a mother whose children are grown, I'll give you some advice.
Okay.
Keep harping on them.
Yes.
don't expect a lot, but keep harping on them. Because what you're saying to them will stick with them. Because the energy of a teenager, and there's a few that is different. There are those teenagers that are orderly and tidy, and God bless them, and kudos to the parents that have them. and maybe they have different issues, you know, the messy ones.
Of course.
But that's not the majority of teenagers. In their lives at that moment, energetically, is just chaotic and explorative.
Sure.
And to think about taking time to pick up their room, and unless there's something in it for them, they're like, they don't care. But they're hearing what you're saying. And then when they are an adult, those lessons come back to them, and you've taught them. So don't expect.
I'll just keep
going. Don't expect too much, but just keep driving it home. Because I'm a very tidy person, but as a teenager, I was not. I mean, I could care less when I was a teenager. I mean, I wasn't super messy. But as an adult, if you've got the time in the morning, if you've gotten a good night's sleep, and you get up at a time not to hurry yourself, and you just make your bed and tidy up your house, when you come home at the end of the day, you don't have to look at that, and it's done. And you may not even realize the mental shift that causes in you to make you relax, and you can enjoy your dinner and all that. But if you get up in a hurry and you leave your bed unmade and your house smells and you need to vacuum the floor, you're going to come home and you're not even going to be that glad.
Right.
So
it's not welcoming. Now, I will tell you, I am messy by nature. Oh my gosh, I am. As a kid, my parents called me Messy Jessie. Like that,
right?
I know, right? I was always Messy Jessie, and my father was military, and he would. He would come in the room, and it was just a disaster. And he would ask me several times over, and he would be like, "Okay, the 15-minute rule is in place. You have 15 minutes to clean this up. Whatever's not done, I'm throwing it away." And he would walk out. And Kathy, I would just sit there in the middle of my mess. Not because I didn't want my stuff thrown, it's not like I wanted my stuff thrown away, but I would absolutely be stuck in this place of, I don't even know where to start.
Right.
And it was like debilitating. He would come back in 15 minutes and I'm still just sitting there.
Right.
And he'd be like, "Oh, honey."
This goes much deeper.
Absolutely. And that has been one of the things. Like, where do you start? Where do you begin when everything is a mess? And the truth of the matter is, you just have to start with one thing.
Or call someone in to help you.
I mean, and right now, my mom, she stays with London while I work. She's not in daycare, and so I just up the pay a little bit, and she helps me with the house, and I need that.
And know when to ask for help.
Absolutely.
Or to hire help, whatever it is, because it's money well spent.
It is.
If it's helping you enjoy your life better.
Because I'll tell you, Dustin is, on the verge of OCD. Like, he loves a clean space. And so what I noticed after a few years of us being together is he would get home and be home, and he wouldn't just sit down and spend time with me. He was up, he was washing the dishes or sweeping the floor, or because he can't stop.
That would be me.
Yeah, he can't stop until things are nice. That's what he needs.
Right.
And so I had to have a very real conversation with myself and be like, "Well, Jessica, what do you want more, to spend time with him or to not have to mess with that?"
And
so I
love that. Thank you for sharing that, because there may be people that really can relate to that side of things. Because it doesn't bother you doesn't mean that whoever you're sharing your home with, and we have to be mindful of that. And then when you look at it that way, it is more important that you keep a clean house.
Absolutely. I want all the time. Like, our time is so limited with each other anyway. I want that time. That far outweighs everything else. So.
And there's an accomplishment too for me. I don't like cleaning all the time, but
Yeah.
I can get into it.
Yeah.
And then when I'm done, I take a shower and I put that clean sheets on the bed.
Yes.
And
Oh,
clean
there's nothing
sheets,
better.
by the way, is another self-care for me.
Mhm. And shaved legs.
Oh my God, and moisturizer.
Yeah.
So here's how it works. You clean your house, you get it all clean and smelling good, and then you take a hot shower with a good moisturizer on your hair, you exfoliate, shave, you get out, you slather down with good moisturizer, and you crawl between those sheets, those clean
That
sheets.
is heaven. That is heaven.
That's self-care. And also with environmental is, you know, occasionally make sure you go outside and breathe fresh air.
Oh my gosh.
Like, get some fresh air, get some sunlight, those sort of things.
Vitamin D.
That's-
Most people are deficient in vitamin D, and it just does not work the same by
No.
taking a supplement. I mean, you can, and it's great during the winter time, but being outside with your bare feet in the ground,
I'm such a hippie bear.
there's something to it. I
Oh,
mean,
it's a science. It's called grounding, and
Yeah.
it really, I mean, energetically, it connects you to the earth.
well, we are all the same thing, right?
Yeah, we're like
it's all
breathing
the same
plants.
energy. So to plant yourself there and to feel it.
Yeah. And there's one, like when I was last year, I really went through a lot of lifestyle change with, you know, not drinking and really going back to what I knew nutrition was, because I had wandered off that path too. And was getting back in it, and I knew there was more to it. There was mindset. I really had to get myself energetically realigned with what I wanted, and I knew how to do it. I teach people how to do it, but that doesn't mean the teacher's
You're
always
doing
following her own advice, right?
That's right.
So I sat myself down. But another thing I did that I listened to myself, and I knew I needed more vitamin D. And I started researching that on what the sunlight, like going out early in the morning and walking toward the rising sun. And or walking, letting the sun, the early morning sun filter into your eyes and on your skin. And there's an actual process that when it does that, the eyes have the sensors in it that go through you. And you know, like, don't spend a lot of time looking into the sun.
Sure.
But let your eyes actually read some sunlight, like let them receive it. But also what it does is it sort of sets your metabolism a little bit. It gives your metabolism a little rise. The hit of vitamin D, and there's a dopamine hit from the sunshine.
Yes.
So I'm like, give me some sun in the morning. So that actually brought more meaning to my morning walk with the dogs. Because I'll throw my shoulders back, I'll lift my head up, and I'm like, hit me, baby.
Eyes wide
Yeah,
open.
give me some of that good
Yes.
stuff, you know, because the sun, you talk about our energy sources. We have one above us and we have one below us. The sun is giving you what it can do, and the earth is feeding you. So we have two energy sources. So environmental's huge. We got a few more to go through. Spiritual. You go ahead.
Spiritual. Okay. So I live my life in prayer.
Yeah.
Constantly. It's a constant balance of gratitude and meditation, like asking and receiving and asking and receiving and putting it out there, and just being 1,000% grateful that I have this day to experience and this day to live. And trying to fully stay in the present moment, I think, is the thing that connects me most spiritually. And then anything else is because I can't do anything about yesterday. Tomorrow may not even come. Not to say I don't take steps towards my goals and you know, take action now to help me get to where I want to be. But this moment with you that we are sitting here, this is it, and it's beautiful, and I am absolutely loving it and full of joy and abundance and wealth that this is even something that I get to experience. And so that is my constant mindset in my touch with spirituality, is staying present and being grateful that I have this experience.
Well, gratitude, I mean, it's its own thing, like, and it feeds the soul, and it fights disease, and it gives us a hope for even more. Like, if I'm grateful for what I have, then I show an appreciation for that, and I can have more.
Absolutely.
And that's another thing I want to tell people. You know, for spirituality, it's okay to ask for what you want. Like God, the universe, whatever your higher spirit is, wants to hear you.
Yeah.
They want you. It wants you. Your higher self wants you to speak to it.
Yeah.
And you have to speak it into being. If you hold it inside,
it's like a whole nother podcast, Kathy.
Yeah, it stays inside. But yes, gratitude, for me, it's a knowing there's something so much bigger than I am.
Yeah.
And staying humble in that thought, but at the same time knowing we all have the potential to move mountains if we want to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That we are part of it. The interconnectedness is everything.
It's so deep.
It really is.
I got cold chills.
Uh-huh.
Okay, recreational. You have to have recreational self-care. This is where the friends and the laughter and enjoying life and the things that we're supposed to go out there and try and do. So is there anything in particular you do recreationally?
So I'm a very silly person. I just like to play. I mean, I like to play to a point, right? My daughter's probably listening to this. Like, you don't want to play golf with me.
That's different.
That's different. That's different.
Yeah.
That's dad's. He's got that real play mentality to it. But I just try not to take anything too seriously, I guess, so to speak, when I'm at work. Always enjoying and laughing and cutting up, dancing, being silly, telling jokes. I just kind of try to live this life of play. Recreationally, I just don't get to do a whole lot right
it's
now.
funny. I saw this
I have to schedule things.
I saw this meme the other day, and they go, if you want to feel like a boring person, let somebody ask you what you do for fun.
Bingo!
What do I do for fun? Well, you just can't pull anything out of thin air. But if you're having fun all day, then you're having fun all day. I mean, what is that saying? Like, you never work a day in your life if you love what you do.
Absolutely.
But recreational is something I'm trying to start adding in. Okay, because I'm not really all that good with it. Because people are like, what do you do for fun? I'm like, read a book. And they're like, well, that's kind of.
To each their own, though, right?
Yeah. But okay, so I talked to a friend this morning, and me and her are going to go to the symphony together.
Oh, fun! I love shows.
We're going to dress up in the gowns, and we're going to glam it, and we're going to go to the symphony together. Because our guys don't care anything like that. They just sing to beat with a baseball bat, right? But I'm like, give me that.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I took London to see Aladdin a couple of weeks ago, and I'm locked in at shows. I do. See, I do like things.
Yeah, and my friend up in North Carolina, I love her. Amy, if you're listening, I love you. I miss you. For my birthday, she took me to the ballet, and she took me like front row, right above the orchestra pit.
Oh, amazing.
And I'm like, this is my new recreational thing, right? So recreational is important. Hobby, like, just find something that kind of sparks that part of you that teaches you a new side of yourself. And we all need to work on it, but we'll do that.
I do.
We'll make it last.
Absolutely. See, we don't have it all figured out.
Not even
close.
And then there's social self-care, and this is where, I'm like, it includes things other than social media. Okay, so let's just say that.
Yeah.
Like, we're so wrapped up in spending time on that, and we think we know people. Like, there'll be people come up to me in public and they go, I follow you on Facebook. And it's so awkward. Yeah. And I'm like, well, what's your name? You know? And then there's people I do the same thing to.
Absolutely.
I walk up to them and I'm like, I am your biggest fan. And they're looking at me like, crazy lady.
Okay, crazy.
But we feel like we know everybody so well.
Right.
And I do think social media is a great place to connect to people, and it's not all bad.
No.
But I think socially we need to have real contact with people, like you and I spend.
It has to be true. There has to be some level of depth to it.
And reality.
Yeah.
Like, I can touch
Hey,
girl. Like, I see you. I see your face. I see your eyes light up. I can see when you're talking about something that means something to you. And there's nothing lost in the translation.
Right.
So So social time is great, and you know, for me, getting together with girlfriends again, and finding that girlfriend bond again, and you know, being back, and me and my husband experiencing things together, like going to Low Mill, and walking in and talking to the artist, you know, and things like that. I love it.
See, so I think it just depends on which side of the spectrum you're on too. It's like, are you introverted or are you extroverted?
I'm so extremely both.
So extremely both.
I have to have time alone.
Okay.
Or I will feel like I'm about to come undone. And my husband knows when I've reached my limit, because I will cut a conversation short and we're out of
And you're done.
I'm done.
Yeah.
But I have to have that time.
Yeah.
And one of my talents is generally being able to read people for the most part. I mean, that's what I do.
Yeah.
And when I feel like what has been said, whatever needs to be said has been said, it's the best time to leave the conversation, because you leave them wanting to know a little bit more, and you leave before the conversation is no longer interesting.
I love that.
It's just knowing when to leave it.
Yeah.
But I'm both. I need alone time, but I energize and feed myself also with time with people. What about you?
I call myself a social introvert.
That's both.
Yeah. I can talk to, I prefer smaller interactions, like one-on-ones. I mean, big group settings, I get very nervous, a little bit of social anxiety, but I hide it very well. I would say most people would be surprised to hear this about me, you know.
No, I mean, some people can hide that.
But that's something to it, right? It's like, Dustin is very, very extroverted. He would love to be out every single night of the week, and I just cannot hang like that.
Yeah, no, see, I can't do that. Like going like once a week is a stretch for me.
Right.
About going like out and being amongst the people, like shopping and stuff. That's all cool, but like really being social once a week is a push. But unlike you though, like I can teach a class full of 1,000 people and it never bothered me. Never think a thing about it. No. But when I'm done,
you're drained.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Girls gotta go home.
Yeah.
And crawl under the covers or take a
so
shower.
I do think with the self-care aspect of it, just making sure you know thyself and what you need in those situations of social interaction or not, you know, making sure you're not putting yourself in a super draining, I mean, sometimes we need to, right? We have to show up for certain events, but to truly feed your soul and have smaller individual interactions. Or if you're on the other side, the extrovert, make sure you're getting out there and doing something to fuel that side of you.
And that's a lot. So we went through them all. We got the mental, emotional, physical, environmental, spiritual, recreational, and social.
That's a lot of self-care.
It is.
But I think a lot of things to look at for yourself.
But I think there's something in here for everybody. And what I want to close with everybody knowing that this is a ripple effect. And we're just going to touch on that real briefly. Like, if you do something to bring happiness and peace to you, you're a better mother.
Yes.
You're a better wife. You're a better friend. You're a better daughter. You're a better husband. Whatever it is. If you take care of yourself, you're going to be better to other people.
For everyone else around you.
And if you don't, you're going to, that thing we were talking about, that those yamas, you know, like you're sending out a ripple effect into the world that can cause harm.
Yes.
And that's not what we want to do. So in taking care of yourself, you take care of everybody around you.
Everybody. Yeah. That's one of the most rewarding things that I get out of having the salon retreat is, you know, people are coming to me to take care of themselves. Like everybody who comes through those doors, I honor highly because you have made a choice to put yourself first and to focus on yourself for
and
that
time
and time being. And I know I will put 100% guarantee on it that when you leave there, you're making the world better.
Yeah.
You are going to be a better mom. You are going to be a better partner. You are going to be a better friend. All of those things are guaranteed to happen because it's like you want to give to the people in your life from your overflow,
Yeah.
not from your entire cup.
No.
You have to protect that cup and make sure that it stays full. And everything you're adding to it just makes it overflow. And that's what carries on and ripples out.
It does. And that's what feeds others. And it's so important. And those of you who have little ones at home, I mean, I think a great lesson to be passing down or to gather from this is teach them self-care.
Oh, yeah.
You know, teach them that, you know, when you need quiet time, you take your quiet time.
Absolutely.
And when you need to have a little talk with mommy or whatever, you can tell her. And you know, just let them know that there's safe things, safe people to be around and to express to. Take care. Because if they learn it early, the guilt's not in it.
Right.
The guilt's not in it, and it's expressed more freely and more clearly. And there's where we make our differences with the little ones.
Yeah.
It's been an honor.
It has. This has been fun.
God, we could do this for a long time.
I think so.
We could even break down some of these and have another one.
Go really deep on some stuff.
We could.
Yeah.
And we will. But tell everybody real quick where to find you. And I'm going to have all this in the show notes, so don't feel like you have to go and jot this down real quick. But go ahead.
So we are VU Salon Retreat, located here in Huntsville, Alabama. We are across all social platforms as at VU Salon Retreat, which is VOUS.
Okay.
Our website, www.vusalonretreat. We are just jam-packed of ways for you to, you know, allow other people to take care of you, because I think that's one thing we didn't touch on too much is when to
be safe. It's good to do that.
It's good to let someone else take care of you.
Yeah.
And that brings me and my team joy.
That's a surrender.
That's a surrender.
Surrender, baby. You're in good hands.
You are in great hands. I would love to take care of you all.
I'll be there soon.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
this
you,
was a lot of fun.
Kathy.
And everybody at home, practice self-care.
Do.
Pamper yourself. Take care. And until next time, namaste.
Bye-bye.
That was fun.
That was fun, right?